and welcome to Community Connections, a scan television program where we talk about folks and things going on in our community. My name is Tom Hayes. I'm Director of Customer and Community Relations for New Jersey Natural Gas, and your host. And today we have the lovely Maria Diaz, who is the Supervisor of Damage Prevention at New Jersey Natural Gas. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We appreciate your being here.
Thank you.
We know you have lots of good information to share with our listeners and viewers. So again, we appreciate your spending time with us.
Thank you, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. So you're here to talk about a number of things. So 811 in particular.
That's
Tell us something about 811. What does that actually mean?
811 is actually the number that you would call if you plan on performing any excavation within our state. Actually, 811 is a national number, and once you dial the number, it connects you with your local one-call center, which is a really important number to remember because it actually, will prevent you from causing damage to one of the underground facilities.
Right, which is pretty amazing when you think of that technology. So if you call in this area to 811, it goes to a national center, but redirects the call to the local area.
That is correct, to our local one-call center, where
Excellent.
there's operators there anxious and, anxiously waiting for you to contact them
Gotcha.
to take your information.
That's great. So somebody just picks up the phone and dials 811, and it's that simple.
That's correct.
So it's very good. Like, we're used to 911 for emergencies,
That is
411 for information. There's also 211, which gives the community like all kinds of information, and then 811 for call before your day and all
That
that.
is correct.
That's pretty amazing. All right. So as a homeowner, do I need to call 811?
Oh, certainly. Homeowners, excavators, we're all considered actually excavators in our state. So anytime you are going to utilize a hand shovel or mechanized equipment to perform any excavation on your property or as an excavator on someone else's property, you call 811. It's completely a free service, and you can call as many times as you need them.
Right, that's great. And like you say, at home, even with a shovel. So you might just be putting in a small shrub or a tree, and you don't think you're going to hit anything, right? Most of us would assume, oh, the pipes have got to be lower, but you need to call to make sure, because things are different at different homes, different depths of pipe and all that, right?
Most certainly. It's not just, the different depths of the pipe, but you also have to take into consideration any type of grading, compromised grading that has occurred on your property. Like, you could have bought a home yesterday and, the previous owners had sod put down, so that compromises the depth of the facility. Plus, again, most importantly, you do not know what's below. So that's why it's so important to call.
Right, which is great. And they'll basically tell you all the lines that are under there, not just gas lines, but if you had an electrical line or a sewer line or a pipeline, they'll be able to tell you most of those utilities that are
Actually,
underground.
the way it works is once you contact the 811 and the local one-call center takes your information, all the facility operators are actually notified. So you will actually see on your property who responded and who has, whose facilities are going to be in conflict with your job. Like, every single color denotes a utility that is underground. So we all come out, we all mark it, or we also let you know that our facilities, for example, might be above ground. So you won't see any paint and flags and marks on the property.
Gotcha. So what would happen if someone does not call 811?
Honestly, you don't know what's below, and you risk, the safety of yourselves as well as your communities, because there could be, water, sewer, gas that is in the vicinity of where you're excavating. So, safety is of the utmost importance to all of us, and again, that's why it's so important that you call, because you will know what's underground and you will not hit it.
Gotcha. And if someone was to call, what kind of questions might they be asked, just so they're prepared, so our viewers are prepared if they were to call?
So New Jersey One Call will actually ask you a series of questions. Some of them, for example, is the municipality you're in, the physical address, a cross street, what is the extent of your work? For example, like, are you going to be working on just your property? Are you going to be working in the street or behind the curb? They ask you a series of questions, but the most important thing to remember is all the questions they ask you are because they want to let every facility operator know exactly where it is that you are going to be excavating. So, and they do, like I said, it's a script, so they do ask you specific questions. So even before you pick up the phone, just know exactly what municipality you're going to be in, how, how deep you're going to be excavating, and the extent of your work, which is the scope of your ticket, where you're going to be digging exactly.
Right. Which is great. All kind of common sense questions. Nothing to throw anybody off.
No, absolutely not.
So you don't have to be nervous about calling 811.
Not
you
at
really
all.
want to make sure people are calling and taking care of business,
That
making
is
sure things
correct.
are safe, right?
Yes.
So you mentioned like the utilities mark the underground lines and all that. How do they do that exactly?
Well, what happens is once we receive the notification one call, every single facility operator in, across the United States, we have denoted colors. So for example, we will receive the information from one call. We will go out as the gas company, and you will see yellow flags and paint on the ground. So we all utilize paint and flags, and every color denotes who we are. Red is electric, yellow is gas, blue is water. So, most of the markouts are paint and flags. If there is, for example, a pipeline that is greater than 12 inches in diameter, you will see stakes, flag, and paint on the property.
Okay, so a little more involved.
A
with
little
that,
more
right?
involved, yes.
Gotcha. And you just mentioned like the different colors, and so that each color denotes a different facility, utility, whatever it might be, right? Okay, good. And is there like a fee associated with calling 811 or getting this service done?
Absolutely not. It is a free service. Again, a free service to our public to help us, reduce damages to our infrastructure, and most importantly, make sure that you are all safe in your communities and where you're working.
Right. So I've seen these before, and so you do have usually a yellow paint strip as well as the flags, kind of help denote where all those lines are.
Yes.
So it's very visible. I mean, it's hard to miss, right? So if you are going to dig and put a plant in your yard or put up a fence or what have you, you don't have to worry that, oh, they just put a flag at one end of the property and you don't know if there's anything over here. They pretty much mark the whole thing or give you a really good denotion of where those lines are.
Yes, well, the paint and flags are utilized. The size of the pipe is also utilized. So you will see, like, for example, with gas, a G and then the size of the pipe. And there is a minimum of 3 marks that we will place on a property, regardless of how, small the property is. So we will place a minimum of 3 marks. So you will certainly see it. It is very visible.
Right. So the idea is you have at least the beginning and the end and somewhere in the middle, so
That is
you can
correct.
really figure out where things are going.
That is correct.
And tell me something about this paint. Somebody might worry that, ooh, is this permanent? So
Absolutely not. It's water-based paint, and it actually washes off. And the flags, you can just, once you're done with the excavation, you can just take them and dispose of them.
okay, or bring them to games with you and wave them.
There you go.
But the idea that the paint does go away, it doesn't go away immediately. Not like if they marked it one day and it rained, the next day it'd be gone. It takes a little bit of time for it to disperse, but it gives you enough time to be able to make sure whatever you need to be doing gets done before they disappear.
Well, actually, when you call one, they actually give you your start date, your dig by date, and your expiration date. So just remember that a ticket is a ticket in New Jersey is only valid for 45 business days. Right. So that is the duration of the paint. It should last 45 business days. And in the event, once the paint is put down, I should say, once the facility operators, or in our case, because we outsource our markouts, once our locating company puts the paint down, then it is the responsibility of the homeowner or the excavator to make sure that they maintain those marks. If for some reason the marks are destroyed, you contact New Jersey One Call, and they take your information, and we go right back out and remark it for you within 3 days.
You make it very easy. There's really no
correct.
excuse not to have it marked, because we'll come back out and again at no cost.
That is correct.
That's great. So tell me some more things about 811. If somebody wanted more information about 811, is there a place for them to go to get answers about?
Well, yeah, actually, you can visit the New Jersey Natural Gas website, njng.com, and look at the tab that says training, or training, and the tab will take you right into the One Call website, or our One Call site, and also our Partners in Safety, and a lot of different events that we do throughout the year to promote education and awareness on 811.
Great, and you just get that again by going to njng.com.
That is correct.
Nice and simple.
Yes.
Good, that's great. Now, if somebody were to hit a pipe or something, and the gas comes out, there is a smell to natural gas, right? We know that, right?
Yes.
So So tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. If an excavator or homeowner causes damage to one of our gas lines or any gas line, you have to immediately call 911, okay, from a safe location. And then you'll know you hit it because we put a special odorant in our gas, which is mercaptan, and will give off the odor of rotten eggs, so you will know you hit it. So the first thing you need to do is call 911 and then call New Jersey Natural Gas. We will send out one of our crews to make repairs to the facility, but just make sure that when you call, you are, a safe distance away.
Right, good. That's great. Yeah, because you want to make sure that you leave the premise or leave that area to make
Most
your
certainly.
calls and all that sort of thing.
Yes.
Make sure everything's safe. That's great. And all right, so if somebody were to call and there is a smell of gas, they'll leave, but we also will send somebody out to test everything, make sure everything's safe, or turn off the system if there's a problem, whatever it might be, right?
That is correct.
And again, that's a free service.
That is correct.
And gas company folks will come right out and take care of that.
We respond immediately.
Right, which is great. That's another nice process that's in place to make sure that keeping our customers safe at all times, which is good, very good. So Maria, tell me a little bit about yourself. So you've been with the gas company how many years, would you say?
Almost 23.
Okay, great. And you've been in a number of different positions going through
Yes.
the company over those years, right?
Yes, I started in customer service, and then I went over to our dispatch center, and then I've been in this position 11 years.
That's great. That's great. So you really know the business, and you know it really from the customer service side very well, which is excellent when you move into a position like this because you're dealing with customers all the time.
Oh, definitely.
And that customer service and involvement is really important.
Oh, certainly.
Yeah, which is great. And these are critical issues and important issues to make sure that our customers really understand. And with your experience, I think it's great because you have that ability to really get right to them and kind of understand how they're kind of working things, how they think and all that sort of thing, so that you really help them through to make sure that these services are in line for what they need and it's taken care of, because again, it's very, very important.
It's very important, but it also affords us the opportunity to be out in our public so people get to know us and know, we really are just trying to develop a partnership with you so that we can all live, safely in our communities.
Right. That's great. Well, again, so you gave us the website. How about a phone number? Is there a phone number to call if people want to get a hold of you?
Yes, you can call 1-800-221-0051, which is our customer service number, and they can direct you right to, our damage prevention department. Or again, you can go on njng.com, and it's actually My Safety, and the tabs in there will direct you right to our safety awareness website, or we have a direct number as well. And you'll find that all on the website, and I look forward to this year's Dig Safely Fairs, which we kick off in June. So hopefully you'll go on that website and get more info about where we're going to be in your communities.
Great. Well, Maria, I want to thank you on behalf of SCAN and Community Connections for being our guest, and really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you to our viewers. We'll be back with you after this commercial. Thank you.
Now's a great time to make your home more energy efficient, and the New Jersey Natural Gas Save Green project is here to help. Take advantage of rebates and incentives up to $15,000, designed to make your whole house more comfortable, improve performance, and save you money. Upgrade your older, inefficient heating equipment, central air conditioning system, and water heater with money-saving, high-efficiency equipment. But don't stop there. Your new equipment will have to work harder, wasting energy dollars if your home is not properly weatherized, by reducing air and duct leaks and installing proper insulation. Call the Save Green Project at 877-455-NJNG or visit SaveGreenProject.com, and we'll help you get on the road to maximum energy efficiency and savings, and explain how you may qualify for up to $15,000 in rebates and incentives. Call Save Green at 877-455-NJNG.
Well, welcome back to SCAN's Community Connection. It's great to have you with us today. For our second half of the program, we have a wonderful guest, Anna Montero, who's the CEO of the American Red Cross, the New Jersey region. So welcome, Anna, to the program. We appreciate your being here with us today.
Thank you so much, Tom. Great to be here.
It's excellent. You guys, I have to say, the American Red Cross does amazing work. And I work with a lot of your local folks in this region, and they really are phenomenal, top-notch people that really work hard to do all the good work that they do.
Thank you. Thank you.
So tell me about the American Red Cross. What type of work, goes on with the Red Cross on a regular basis?
Okay, so the Red Cross has been around for a long time, as many people know. In fact, We've been around for probably about 135 years.
Wonderful.
And here in the state of New Jersey, the Red Cross has had chapters since around that time, right at the beginning of this organization. We have a region here in New Jersey, and we have 6 chapters located throughout the state of New Jersey. Our local chapter here is in Tinton Falls, our Jersey Coast chapter. And that's probably the one you're most familiar with, the work that they
Yes.
do here in this area. We're a humanitarian organization, and our mission is to alleviate human suffering in times of disaster. We do that with our volunteers, our staff, our donors, both our blood donors as well as our financial donors.
Right, it's amazing.
Yes.
And I know you have tons of services. Can you review some of those services that the American Red Cross has to offer?
Absolutely. So I kind of sum it up in 5 different areas. We provide shelter, food, and care to individuals who are victims of disasters. We reconnect military members with their families and provide emergency communications.
That's amazing. I don't think most people understand that part.
Yes.
Right, they understand disasters and some other things, but the fact that you're the organization that can connect them to their loved ones that's serving overseas is pretty amazing.
Absolutely. And we help service men and women from when they enter the military as well as when they're discharged. And we work with their families as well to help them through that reconnection.
That's great.
We also provide over 40% of this nation's blood supply. That's
Wow.
another service delivery area that many individuals are familiar with the American Red Cross.
Right.
We teach life-saving skills, CPR, first aid training, lifeguard training. And then we also are a humanitarian organization and provide humanitarian relief across the entire country and the world.
Wow, it's amazing. It's funny, I'd gotten some CPR training from your organization many years ago. In fact, I'm due for a refresher. So don't decide to have a heart attack on me right now. I'm not sure if I could really help you out.
You come see us, and we do have an app for that.
That's good. That is good. See, that's really good. Good to know. So let's talk about disaster services in particular. Tell us a little bit about, what's involved with all of that.
Be happy to do it. It's one of the service delivery areas that individuals are most familiar with. And it's usually those disasters that we see on television, the large-scale disasters, and disasters such as Superstorm Sandy or the California wildfires that happened this year, the flooding in Louisiana, Hurricane Matthew, those large-scale disasters. And
Right.
we actually respond and provide about 66,000 responses every year on average to disasters. A large percentage of those are actually home fires. But in addition to those home fires, those larger scale disasters, we're doing work like opening up shelters and providing meals in those shelters and comfort and mental health services if necessary in those instances. We also will deploy. We provide that type of relief right here in New Jersey, but we also deploy nationally. All those disasters I just mentioned, in fact, this year, about 300 New Jersey volunteers deployed throughout the entire country to respond to disasters.
Wow, that's pretty incredible.
Yes, these are individuals who take time off away from their families, sometimes using their vacation time to go help others in time of need.
Wow,
And
that's
they're
impressive.
standing up shelters there. They're also providing assistance in neighborhoods affected. So when individuals are leaving shelters and trying to get back into their homes, our Red Cross volunteers go and drive emergency response vehicles in those communities, providing meals and giving them supplies to help them clean out their homes and get back home.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. And I would imagine there's a lot of training that goes on with some of these volunteers. If they're being deployed around the country, they must have to go through some training to be able to, as you said, did you say stand up? They stand up the
They
centers?
stand up the shelters,
Okay.
yes. We have a significant amount of training. Our volunteers are very well and highly skilled volunteers. We partner with agencies to conduct the training. The Red Cross delivers it. We also partner with FEMA and other offices of emergency management when we have our training sessions, and we do exercises with them as well to make sure that we're able to exercise the skills that we've learned in the classroom.
Wow, it's amazing. I know with the gas company, I work for the gas company, and we've done emergency training, and the Red Cross has helped out with that. So if there was a local emergency, there's actually drills and things that are done so that we can be better prepared. So it's not like as soon as a disaster hits, we're all like running around like, well, what do we do now? But the
Exactly.
Red Cross was very instrumental in helping do a lot of that training, get folks prepared for when the next disaster comes, because unfortunately we know inevitably it's going to come again at some point or another, right?
Exactly, yeah. It's not if, it's when.
Yeah, and I know you guys were really fantastic during Sandy.
Yes.
There were a lot of partners came together and really helped a lot in during Sandy, but the Red Cross really did a top-notch job, really helping all of us in this region to really, try to come back from all that.
Well, thank you. And the Red Cross is this community.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, it's our volunteers. Our organization is made up of about 95% volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
So the Red Cross is our community.
Yeah, it really is amazing.
Yeah.
And you mentioned around the country. Are there ever times where our volunteers will go overseas? Just like if there was like an earthquake somewhere or
Yes, that does happen.
Okay,
And
but it's a
our,
little-
our volunteers can deploy also internationally. Oftentimes their deployments are here nationally, responding locally to our disasters as well as in other states throughout the United States. But yes, they do deploy internationally as well.
Gotcha. Now, if folks wanted to help with disaster services, what would you suggest, or how can they help, or what should they be looking to do?
They can do some of the activities I mentioned, right, in terms of shelter and the immediate aftermath of a disaster. But I mentioned earlier that many of those disasters we respond to are actually home fires. And so that's another way that individuals can volunteer with the American Red Cross. But the best way to find out what would be a good match for you in terms of your skill and the way that you like to spend your volunteer time would really be to go to redcross.org /New Jersey. Going to that website, you'll be able to find out many different ways that you can volunteer with the American Red Cross.
That's great. And that's, again, what's the website again? Is redcross.org?
redcross.org /New Jersey.
Great. That's great. So hopefully our viewers will be able to take that down and go online and actually find out. It's a good thing to check into. You may even feel like, well, geez, what do I really have to offer? And you'd be surprised, right? Everybody can do something, right? And help out in
Absolutely.
some way, you know?
Yes.
So, and so for some folks, it may be that they're looking for something to do in their off time, or, they have a couple days a week where they're looking to fill in, and I'm sure the Red Cross could put them to work.
Absolutely. We can work on blood drives. We can work on helping with disaster response. We can work with our service to the armed forces, a lot of different ways.
That's great. So tell me, I've heard about the home fire campaign. I know we were approached and tried to support in certain ways, but tell our viewers a little bit about that home fire campaign.
Absolutely. We'd love to do that. I'm really excited about this campaign. And I'd like to explain why we've engaged in the campaign before I actually explain what it is.
Sure.
Most people don't realize this, Tom, but every day, 7 people on average die in a home fire. And every year, it's about 2,500 individuals across the country that lose their lives to home fires. And these are the types of disasters that can actually be prevented.
Right.
We can do something about it. And so what the American Red Cross has seen, that both there's a need there based on what we see in terms of disasters and the lives that are being lost. But one of the other things that we do as it relates to home fires is we respond to them. So many of our responses, in fact, this year we responded to about 760 home fires throughout the entire state of New Jersey.
Wow.
These are volunteers that are getting up, that are ready and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, getting up in the middle of the night to respond to home fires and help families that are affected.
Wow.
And so seeing their responses and seeing what the statistics are saying in terms of lives lost, and knowing that this is something that is preventable, the American Red Cross has embarked in a 5-year campaign. We're about 2 years into the campaign now. The purpose of it is to minimize and reduce the amount of home fire deaths and injuries over a 5-year period.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah, so we're about 2 years into it. We've installed, the way that we're doing it is going into communities and installing free smoke alarms. And we've installed about 17,000 of those
Wow.
already in the last 2 years.
Right.
And when we go in to install the smoke alarms, we're also providing education to the families. So imagine a team of folks going in, knocking door to door, installing free smoke alarms, and then part of that team sitting with the family and talking to them about the importance of doing a couple of things. Something that people don't realize, Tom, and you have children. Imagine there's a fire in your home. The first thing you're going to want to do is make sure your kids are okay, right?
Right, sure.
Any pets that you might have, you're going to want to make sure that you can try to get them out of the homes as well.
Right.
People don't realize we actually have less than 2 minutes to get out of our homes.
Wow, that's not a lot of time.
It's not.
Especially in a panic, especially if you're woken up in the middle of the night, what's going on, right?
Exactly. And so this is what we're informing the families of. And we're sitting with them, helping them to actually draw up an escape plan on how to get out of their homes, and urging them to practice that plan.
Right.
To not only how to get out of their house, but where to meet once they leave the house.
Right.
Knowing,
To make
again,
sure they're all together so somebody's not running back in looking for a child that they think might still be in there when in fact they're on the other side of the house with a neighbor.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
that's
by practicing
critical.
a plan, you're going to feel comfortable that they know what to do.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Now, if to be a volunteer, do you have to be a certain age to volunteer for the Red Cross?
Well, we have probably about a third of our volunteers are youth, and they're very active. We have actually about 80 youth clubs throughout
Nice.
the entire state.
Excellent.
These are clubs in high schools, colleges, and universities. Our youth are very active in our biomed. They host blood drives. They get engaged in the home fire campaign with us. So there are many ways that they engage with us. It's a wonderful opportunity for youth to develop leadership skills. We have youth members that are part of those 6 chapter boards that I mentioned earlier.
Right, great.
So they're learning the work of a nonprofit, and we'd like to think that that's our way of engaging and building our future Red Cross volunteers.
That's important. Now, as we're coming to a close of the show, I do want to make sure that we have an opportunity to ask the question, if folks want to be involved and want to donate and support the Red Cross, what's the best way that you would recommend that they do that?
So there are a few ways you can do it. One, I would suggest that you go to our website,
Okay,
redcross.org/New Jersey.
okay,
There you will learn about all the potential ways that you can volunteer with the American Red Cross, but also how you can donate, both donating blood or making a financial contribution to the American Red Cross.
okay.
We also have wonderful apps that'll help you do all of that as
And
well.
they could just go on their phones, or
You can
you
go
go
on
in the
your
App Store and
phone,
find
you
that?
can go in the App Store and download our first aid app,
Great.
our emergency app, and schedule an appointment to donate blood.
Good. Well, we appreciate your time. We're actually out of time, so we really appreciate you being here, Anna. You did a wonderful job, and we appreciate all that the Red Cross does. And thank you to our viewers for watching, and come back and see us again soon. Take care.